And happening now, Lobo fans could not be happier this morning because there is officially a new leader of Lobo Nation, Noodles.
I'm very proud to announce the 20th basketball coach at the University of New Mexico, Craig Neal.
All right, that is Athletic Director Paul Krebs introducing Coach Craig Neal yesterday. Neal's been a big part of the Lobos' success for the past 6 years, being Steve Alford's right-hand man, actually sitting just to the left of him. Now, as soon as Alford went west, Neal made it clear he wanted the top job, and he now has it, and he couldn't be happier.
It's been rather fast and quick, and it's happened. It's just been amazing. This is probably one of the happiest days of my life between my two sons being born.
He had a couple of emotional moments there yesterday. The Lobo players were all with Coach Neal and were thrilled that he got the head job. Now they're going back to work, taking care of some unfinished business, as they call it, hoping to get to the Sweet 16 next year. And while Coach Neal starts to take over, it looks like a money fight is brewing between UNM and former coach Steve Alford. Just 4 days after Alford announced he was leaving for UCLA, saying adios, UNM fired off this letter to him. It says because Alford quit on March 30th, he was still under his old contract, which required 30 days notice if he wanted to leave. That means his last day should be April 29th, which is after his new contract would have kicked in. Now that contract calls for a $1 million buyout. UNM says it wants the money, and it wants it by April 29th. Now, for his part, Mr. Alford has said that he quit before his new contract started, so he should only owe $150,000. Lobo Nation on fire right now with a lot of enthusiasm about Neal being promoted to the head coach. News 13, of course, going to stay on top of this with Sports Director Van Tate and Lawrence Gilligan. They'll follow the Lobos' vision for the future, both on the air and online at KRQE.com.
If you are in the market for a new job, shine those shoes and get out that resume. There is a job fair happening today in Albuquerque. The Choice Career Fair will begin at 11 a.m. today and will run until 2 p.m. It will be at the Radisson on Carlisle near I-40. Hundreds of jobs from several different categories will be open and available for you to apply. To learn more about this career fair, go to links at krqe.com. A new bill signed by Governor Susana Martinez will overhaul the New Mexico unemployment system. It is designed to keep the system in the black. It sets the rates 45,000 businesses will pay into the fund. The fund, which had a $500 million before the economy crashed, now only has $30 million. Two big boundary changes for Albuquerque Public Schools will go into effect this morning. The first calls for all parents to show documents proving where they live every year. Now, that passed on a 4-3 vote last night. The other passed unanimously. It calls for changing boundaries for the overcrowded North Star Elementary School that is off of Ventura near Alameda in northeast Albuquerque. Students living in an area bordered by Alameda, Paseo del Norte, Ventura, and Eubank will now go to Double Eagle Elementary, about 2 miles east of North Star.
Senior citizens will be getting together today in Albuquerque to rally for Medicare. They want to get the word out about the cuts that Medicare could get hit with. Rallies at 11:30 this morning at the Embudo Towers on Constitution in the northeast part of town. Now, here's a question for you. What is the fastest growing crime industry in the whole world? It's human trafficking, where 18,000 people, including women and kids, are brought into the U.S. every year to become labor and sex slaves. This morning, New Mexico's Attorney General Gary King is going to be talking about how to prevent this from happening. It's all part of the New Mexico Human Trafficking Summit 2013. We'll be there. We'll let you know what the AG says. The City of Hobbs is offering some big-time incentives to get more police officers patrolling the streets there. The recent boom in oil jobs has the town bursting at the seams with folks, and right now there simply aren't enough officers to handle the load. So the City Commission approved a $15,000 stipend for new officers, plus a possible $25,000 toward a new house if officers agree to stay for 5 years. And if they agree to stay for 10 years, they'll get $50,000 going toward a new home there. Starting pay for rookies is not bad, $22.28 an hour. That goes out to about $44,000 a year, much higher than other departments in the state. Not a bad deal.
The FBI says it has concrete evidence a woman found dead along US 491 on the Navajo Nation was killed by a hit-and-run driver. 56-year-old Loretta Silversmith was hit near Sheep Springs in early March. Investigators now say they found a passenger side mirror that may belong to a Dodge Stratus or Plymouth Breeze, model years 1996 through 2000. The FBI is asking anyone who knows of a car missing that mirror or perhaps someone trying to replace one like it to give them a call. The district attorney has ruled another officer-involved shooting by Albuquerque police justified. On February 9th, 2011, Officer Trey Economidis pulled over 29-year-old Jacob Michelin for having an expired tag on his license plate. Economidis says Michelin bolted from the car, then grabbed a gun that had fallen out of his pocket and pointed it at him. Now, Economidis says that is when he fired 5 times, hitting Michelin 3 times. There were questions about whether the suspect here had his back turned when he was shot. Economidis says that he fired at Michelin as he was twisting his body and swinging the gun towards him. Now, the district attorney says the bullet wounds are consistent with Economidis' story.